It's been 2 months since I started my sardine fast. Here's a little update. What I'm noticing, what shifted. I see people all the time. I hear from relatives that have seen these posts, my posts from early December, from the first 2 weeks when I was doing the sardine fast, and the random people that saw it on Facebook, randomly, because now I guess I'm posting on Facebook. So after the 2 weeks, I kept going with keto, with ketosis, and that felt awesome for like a month and a half. I was eating clean, like just so fucking clean. I mean, I certainly did not eat a sardine for a good month after three to four cans a day. So that was something I needed a break from. I actually started to eat mackerel. There's a lot of talk about mackerel being very good too for you. So now my whole kitchen is filled with mackerel, and I just bought a bunch of more sardines too, because I'm back on the sardines. I couldn't stay away for that long. Immediately after after the 2 weeks, I got a cold, because I think my body was just like running on such low fuel for so long. So it's a thing to think about if you are going down this path, and if you've reached out and asked about what kind of sardines and what brands, because a few of you have, but I would make sure that you eat enough. So I think that subsisting on 600 to 800 calories a day was not enough for 2 weeks. I mean, I lost like 20 something pounds, which was crazy. But I think towards the end, my body like gave in to that shit that was going around at the time too. So I was noticing a lot of in the weeks and kind of month or so afterwards that eating clean just felt better. I felt better. I was actually using ChatGPT to help with that too, of like what to eat and when to eat, shifting my patterns. And that's taken a lot. I realized how much I'm dependent on food to regulate my nervous system, I guess, or in a way it was deregulating, because I was so dependent on food at night and that feeling of eating at the end of the day. And so for that time period that I was eating super clean, it actually helped me through my cold. I feel like my cold did not last the weeks that it usually does. That weird shit that just keeps popping up a couple times a year in the area. I mean, around the country, I'm sure, around the world. And the eating clean helped get me through the cold better, made me feel better at the end. But then little things started to creep back in. Having sugar, processed foods, like I crave these foods from growing up. Stupid shit, like just wanting to eat chips and like the sensation and the crunch. But also little things like I'll have an LMNT packet and all of a sudden it's the stevia that is so powerful from a sugar standpoint, from a fake sugar standpoint, artificial sweetener, that it just triggered everything else. So I was eating boring for like a month and a half. Like sardines are boring, right? Like it's the same thing over and over again. But then eating boring after that, just chicken, and like I was making chicken soup and broth and basic vegetables and just chicken, eggs, simple stuff. But at the end of the day, I would find that I'm not hungry. I'm not like overly hungry. I didn't need to like overpower my system at night. I was eating a lot at lunch, and that was like my staple meal, and that would fuel the rest of the day. And that worked. It worked for so long. I felt great, and then I started adding in cottage cheese and like eating too many pistachios. I've got nuts all over my house. I'm surrounded by nuts here, everywhere. There's nuts in my car. I'm constantly looking at nuts, thinking about nuts. So a lot of that was creeping back in. So there's been some work I needed to do of realizing, am I eating for sustenance? Am I eating just because, I don't know, some stupid shit happened and I'm trying to like process it with food? Um, this also happened during the Christmas time frame. So there were some days of eating unhealthy and overdoing it and different flavor, like Chinese food one day. And it's like, oh my God, this tastes so fucking good. I can't stop eating it. And at the same time, I was maybe being too restrictive and chasing that ketosis high, which I love, but it's hard to maintain that, especially when my instinct is to like, well, I want to eat a lot of vegetables. I need to eat like, things like black beans and other things other types of carbs. So it is a balance there too. And I'm not really sure where I'm going to land with that. But I want to make sure I'm getting a nice variety of food. So this became like a food experiment too. I started to make deals with myself of like, oh yeah, just a little bit of chocolate, right? Like dark chocolate, it's good for you. But again, there's that sugar that's coming in, and then that's just feeding into that. I don't know if it's the gut telling me, it's seeing that. It goes back to I remember coming back from like school when I was a kid, like elementary school, like middle school, and just eating cookies and fucking chocolate milk, drinking chocolate milk and cookies and eating stupid shit, just because it was like so. I don't know if it might be a dopamine thing. It could be just a comfort thing. But that comfort, that like feeling of being full, is interesting, because that leads to other bad habits I've found. And then sleep's worse, and then the next day you wake up and it accumulates, right? You get up the next day, you haven't had a lot of sleep, you make bad decisions, etc., etc. So getting back out of that, and all my markers came back too. So as I was talking about before, I did some blood tests immediately after, and I did it through Function, just because I'd used Function last year to just try it out. Function Health, whatever they're called. It took them like a month to get back to me. So I used ChatGPT instead in the meantime, to understand like what those markers were looking at. Okay, so what went up? Omega-3 index went up. EPA increased, part of omega-3s. DHA went up. A little slower. Uric acid went really high, and not surprising, being in ketosis for 2 weeks. And that could have been an issue. I've had gout in the past. A couple of years ago, I had a few gout attacks. Gouty. I was a little gouty. And I had no problem with that. So I think that gout was related more to other stupid stuff I was eating. This is when I was still in New York. So uric acid spiked, and I think by itself, without any other context, it's probably a bad thing, but it didn't do anything bad for me. And that's also common with ketosis. ApoB, LDL-C went up, but it's more about the transport stress is how I'm seeing it. And those cholesterol markers went up short term, which is fine, I think, or it feels fine, because I didn't have like heart problems or anything at that moment. But it seems natural that those are going to go up because of the olive oils and the sardines they're fat and protein, right? But there actually is more protein per can than fat. What decreased omega-6 to omega-3 ratio, which is a signal, it shows an inflammatory balance shifting. Glucose went down, which speaks to metabolic flexibility, which is great. Blood sugar dropped, which means I was fully fat adapted, and that's awesome. Insulin went down, and so the insulin sensitivity is good, and it means I wasn't starving. I was just eating enough, and my body was, or I think I was eating enough, despite the cold implications afterwards. But my appetite definitely dropped, and in those following weeks when I was eating cleaner and more mindful. So yeah, that's a lot of the markers. Everyone always, so many people ask, they're like, "What about your mercury levels?" And what I've understood about this, and mercury didn't rise at all, literally none, zero, no rise, because of the insignificant levels of mercury that are in sardines. The theory is that the bigger fish of the sea have mercury, and that's the challenge, is with bigger fish like tuna and swordfish and things like that, because they're eating so much of the little fish. Even though that also doesn't necessarily make sense to me, because if they're eating the smaller fish, they're still where they're getting the mercury from. But mercury did not rise at all in any of my testing. Ooh, it's 11:11. Make a wish, motherfucker. Would I do this again? The answer is yes. I do want to continue to have blood markers, have my blood tested before and after, potentially even further after too. So 14 days is not going to happen again, but maybe messing around with more cans a day somehow. I really have to get my love back for sardines. I need to bring that back. Maybe also mix in mackerel with that too. Mackerel's so fucking good. And making sure I'm clearer about my electrolyte usage. I've started to put together or reverse engineer LMNT packets. So I'm buying magnesium malate powder and potassium chloride and using Celtic sea salt and just making my own drink versus having to deal with the stevia, which tastes fucking chalky as shit because magnesium is just hard to take. But whatever, you know. And I think more sardines per day, more calories the next time I do this, maybe it's a few times a year, is going to be more beneficial. So I feel good, still feel good, and I'm trying to get back to that insane feeling I felt every day. I recorded a video and you saw me feeling just embracing the world and loving life and loving every single day, waking up early, my body just getting up and making time for sleep and having the freedom to not be so full at the end of the day that I couldn't sleep well. And I would like stay up later to give my stomach more time to digest. And then it's 11 o'clock and I'm like, shit, my body's gonna wake me up at 4:30. So that's just not sustainable. So I think sleep is something I'm gonna concentrate even more on as I lead into the next fast. Yeah. I invite you to try it. Remember, LDLs are going to pop. And nothing else really looked that crazy. And LDLs may not pop for you, but the other question I also get is, are you going to do another water fast? And I don't think I want to anymore. If I can get the same benefits from a sardine-based fast, maybe I'll do a water fast once a year where I'm only drinking water, but it doesn't sound as attractive to me. All the energy I got. I mean, I'm energetic from that, but water fasts are meant to be restful. And I think that the sardine fast is, especially for me, I teach a lot. I'm doing sound healing sessions, and that takes a lot of energy. There's a lot of energetic movement there, so I need to make sure I'm there for the people that need me to be there. So in yoga class, when I'm leading sauna, when I'm working with small groups or individuals with sound, I've got to be fully present. My body's got to be able to take it. So when I'm fasting, I lose that ability, fully fasting, water fasting. So that's where I'm at. Let me know if you have questions. This is a longer video. Hopefully you stayed the whole time. And if you didn't, who cares? if you took something from this journey of mine, let me know. People still also are like, sardines are terrible. I will never eat a sardine. I can never do that. And you know, you can. And also sardines are fucking delicious as I incorporate them back into my life. As I bring them back in, I still highly value the sardines. All right, y'all. More to come. In this space, this is a new space on my property that I built out a studio for healing only. It's an amazing space. I'm going to start offering more guidance, more insight from my journey from corporate world into the world of sound healing, and where I've come from, what I've learned. I want to share that, and more to come on that side. So look out for more videos. Peace. Peace. I'll see you.